Our pleasure to welcome the former governor of Imo State, Chief Achike Udenwa, to Good Morning Nigeria. Your Excellency, delight to have you again on Good Morning Nigeria.
Yeah, thank you.
Okay.
Thank you, Nigerians.
Okay. And also here with us is Dr. Leonard Nzenwa. He's Chairman, Intergovernmental Party Advisory Council, IPAC. Dr. Nzenwa, pleasure to have you on Good Morning Nigeria.
Thank you for having me in the program. It's an Inter-Party Advisory Council.
Oh, sorry, what did I said intergovernmental. Oh, that's sorry about that. So IPAC, we had the former chairman with us yesterday. That's
Tanko.
Tanko. Yes, he was with us. I apologize for that. All right. So IPAC, Dr. Leonard Nzenwa, delight to have you again on.
Thank you very much for having me in the studio.
Okay, and Kiran, we're going to have another guest join us once we're able to sort that out.
Exactly.
Yes.
Let's say we'll be coming from Kano. Gentlemen, you're welcome to the program.
Thank you very much.
Yeah.
All right. Let's begin with the former governor of Imo State. It was one of the questions we posed to our guest yesterday, who's had experience in Second Republic and part of the Third Republic, which was aborted, and more extensively in the Fourth Republic. You were, of course, involved in the Second Republic, and you have seen politics well over 4 decades now in our country, military interregnum notwithstanding. There is a very strongly held view that, unlike what we saw, for instance, in the First and more particularly during the Second Republics, party members and indeed party membership have become largely irrelevant in the Fourth Republic. That's for over 20 years. Party members have largely been consigned, to the periphery, while the oligarchs, the so-called owners of the party, have taken charge. And this, of course, they say is unhealthy for a sustainable democracy. What are your thoughts?
Well, I think if we say that the party members have been maybe neglected, shoved aside, I don't think that could be completely true because right now, party members are involved in all facets of the electoral process, right from the delegates selection to the congresses to the election proper. It varies from party to party. The only problem is that money has crept so much into our political system. So this has made the party man less important. In those days, it was not so. In the Second Republic, it was not so. Money did not play the type of role money is playing in politics today. To that extent, I will agree. But the party man also keeps being important. But the only thing we can say is that the party man needs to stand firm. He should not be one that for peanuts you just buy him out. That's where the problem is. The biggest problem we have in political structure today is all about the issue of money. That is an area we must look at properly. Otherwise, the party member is still a very powerful member in the process. Because if you want to contest election, for example, at any level, you need him. So I don't think he has been completely shoved aside, but maybe I would say he has become more susceptible to the influence of money. I remember when you talk about the Second Republic, I was a member of the PRP in 1979, and at that time, Malam Aminu Kanu, who was our leader, didn't have any money. In fact, if he was coming to your place for a campaign, it is you who pay for the hotel, who do everything and provide transportation. He's not coming with a kobo. But today, the party man looks up to you that if you are coming to campaign in his place, you would have sent so much money ahead of his coming to do all the logistics, to provide for him. This is where the problem comes in. I don't know. We must solve that problem if we have to move ahead.
All right. Thank you, Chief Achiku Denwa. And now we have other guests at the Kano Network Center. And that's Dr. Aminu Hayatu. Dr. Aminu Hayatu is a political scientist. So you're welcome to the program. The signal will be through in a couple of minutes. Now, let's return to Abuja studio. We have Dr. Leonard Nzenwa. Now, the question Kingsley posed to Achiku Denwa really is very relevant here, because I am also concerned about the quality of party membership. If you listen to the excerpts that we just showed, the lady made reference to illiteracy and, of course, poverty, which is also part of the issues in question when we talk about the party membership, and that creates an avenue for some persons in the party who have the financial muscle to, of course, take over the party and determine, what happens or the pace of things in the party. Now, what is the problem here? We started party formation in the pre-colonial era. Does it mean that we have not learned anything, between then and now? Why are we still having some issues concerning membership of political party and, of course, the internal democracy, for instance?
Okay, thanks for the question. I think my father, and also a very experienced politician who is here, has given some background to this. What I need to say up front is that there are members of political parties. The justice you have in every system, when you have things are not working well, it contracts. As we're having membership of political parties contracts on account of the vicissitudes that are going on now. Now, specifically to your question, poverty is a factor, illiteracy is a factor. Now, members of political parties are there. What really happens is you find them coming out more when you have electioneering period. As we speak, even before the electionary period comes up, you have political party members who are very active, some are not active. We must also note that because of the experience we've had over the years, in terms of leadership and delivering of values to the people, it has become very difficult for members of political parties and Nigerians to appreciate how to join a political party, how to become members of political parties, and what to do for political parties. And also bring this point very clear. If you look at the structure, the two things here is that the leadership structure of political parties and the ownership structure of political parties. Those are the key things. The leadership structure of political parties and ownership structure of political parties. The kind of legislation we have around now does not look very properly into the ownership of political structure of political parties. Now, and that has led to a situation where you have all kinds of people have come out to now to now promote political parties. Instead of using the word promoting political parties, they are more comfortable using the word founders of political parties. And when you talk about founders of political parties, you're positing ownership. And that's why you find out in situations where you have very large number of political parties, you have individuals saying they are founders of political parties. So we should have an arrangement where we have a critical mass of Nigerians form political parties or promote political parties as different from what obtains now. Now, I think a lot of work is in progress in INEC. When we consider that there's so much INEC is doing in terms of regulation of registration of political parties, regulation and monitoring of political parties, conduct of by-elections, elections itself and referendum, then also delineation of constituencies, and the last one, interdiction and prosecution of electoral offenders. Now, we need to understand that there has to be a more specific rule in terms of holding the political party, in terms of registration and regulation. If we can have an entity, maybe embedded within INEC, that will now take complete 360 degrees on how political parties are formed, how we originate and get membership, and also sustaining membership, it will become easier off. The way it is now, it is not helping so much. Things are not working out the way it is. But I can tell you that members of political party do exist. They are very active, but they tend to come more alive when you have elections than when election is not in place.
Kieran?
All right. Let's once again welcome our guest who is in our Kano studio. And he's Dr. Aminu Hayatu. Dr. Hayatu, good morning and welcome to the program.
Good morning. Thank you for having me.
All right. Maybe we'll stay with you. Let's get your comment on this issue of membership of political party in Nigeria. As I said earlier, my first question, politics began in Nigeria in earnest during the colonial era. And then we had political parties, different political parties. And then in the Second Republic, again, we returned and had political parties as well. In the Fourth Republic, we were looking at political parties and sustainable democracy. How far have we gone? Have we learned anything, from the beginning till now? Have we learned a lesson, or are we still having issues to contend with respect to membership of political parties in Nigeria?
Well, thank you once again. I am happy this morning to be sandwiched between Uzenwa and Udenwa. But quite frankly, this question of political party developments in Nigeria actually have different dimensions which cannot just be summarized in a shot. But frankly speaking, you could see that things are quite deteriorating. And I mean, instead of getting better, I mean, political parties in the First Republic, yes, you could see that semblance of divisions in terms of regional inclinations and so on. And then, of course, a bit of wider coverage in the Second Republic and all of that. But what we are having today is, I mean, the deterioration of all that, especially what the first problem that has caused that is this issue of lack of party ideology. It's a very serious problem because it is the ideology that will galvanize the members of the party, educate them on what they are supposed to do, and of course, even understand the respective roles that everyone play in the political parties. And you see membership of political parties as we speak today is in fact never on the basis of any ideology. Even the political, I mean, the questions even begin from the ideology of the political parties themselves. You go to any political party today and ask them, what is their ideology? I mean, how has it been rooted in the societal forces and interests, I mean, that are inherent in the societies which they work for? You would find out that many party members and even officials do not even understand what these questions of ideology, manifesto, I mean, the constitution, discipline, and all of those things revolving around political parties. So you could trace your problem from there, and what you are likely to see. And of course, is the eventual finding of oneself in the midst, caught up in the midst of, unfortunately, what we have today in Nigeria, corruption. So all of that, put together has contributed to the deterioration of the activities of political parties in Nigeria. And so you could see that they do not have any impact. And like Sir Udenwa earlier said, this issue of hijacking of political parties by politicians has really aggravated the problem. And what we're seeing today is not political party membership, is not political parties that have ideologies and that are rooted in ideologies. I'll give you a brief example on this. If you go to South Africa, we have a political party called EFF. This political party emerged from the fabric of that society on the basis of questioning the issue of land. So the economic issues that bedeviled that society in South Africa are what actually prompted for the formation of that political party. And until now, as we speak, the leaders of the political party and the followers are actually very much aware of the function of their political party and the demands and aspirations that it seeks to put across on the table in the South African body politic. So this is very important, and I think most of our political parties in Nigeria are quite lacking in that.
Okay, Dr. Aminu Hayatu, thank you very much for your introductory comment. Let's come back to the studios. Dr. Leonard Zenwa and Chief Achike Udenwa, you both say that, yes, there are members of political parties, but the deeper question to ask is, are these real members of political parties or are they nominal members of political parties? I'm asking this against the background of part of what we discussed yesterday. One of our guests, Professor Shamego, did point out that two of the duties and rights arising from membership of a political party are one, funding. If you're a member of a political party, you contribute to the funding of that political party. And more importantly, active participation in decision-making in that political party. Exactly. So my question is going first to you, Your Excellency. What is the subscription level, assuming there is any, of party members to their parties in Nigeria today or since the Fourth Republic? And you were saying that party members are active during elections, you see them, X, Y, Z. But we keep hearing of the imposition of candidates. When they are having indirect election by way of delegates, how many party members actually choose those delegates to go? Is it not, as we have heard and as we have seen, to say, Dr. Leonard, you are going, Kirian, you are not going, you are a troublemaker, Kingsley, you are a good boy, you are going. So, Your Excellency, the question goes to you.
Well, I think what we are saying, honestly, you see, it's not that the law is not there. It's not like the procedures are not there, but always we are more in the breach of those laws and procedures than in obedience. There's been a lot of development over the years. Like, even if you look at it more, in the Second Republic you're talking about, I could remember when you had what are the political parties then? GMPP, MPN.
NPP.
Besides MPP,
PRP.
Besides NPP and
MPN.
And MPN.
UPN.
No. Okay. DPN was not there.
DPN, yeah.
The other three parties, you could remember. PRP, Malam Aminu Kanu was the national chairman.
Yes.
He was the leader of the party, and he was the presidential candidate. Michael Imodu was the deputy chairman, the deputy leader, and at the same time, the presidential running mate. In GNPP, Alhaji Ibrahim Waziri was the chairman and was also the presidential candidate. And in the other one, AG, Awolowo was the chairman.
UPN.
He was the presidential candidate, these three. That showed you that even at that time, the party was not so open. Now even you cannot have a situation where a party chairman becomes the presidential candidate. It doesn't happen now. Exactly. So we have progressed in that line in terms of, would I say, procedure, in terms of ownership of party. So the ownership is becoming more open. Even the illiteracy we are talking about, people were more illiterate at the time than today. These are not our problems. Even in terms of the law, the law today is by far more advanced than the laws we had at that time, the electoral laws. So these are not our major problem. Our major problem actually is the Nigerian himself, be he a politician or be he a non-politician, we have become so materialistic. So whoever comes with money, we are ready to line up and follow him. These are some of our problems. Like even if you talk in terms of legislation, there are better legislations today. And even if we say, oh, let us make law for this, let us create this one, we have done all that. But the problem is the Nigerian himself.
No,
Your Excellency.
to add to what he said,
yes.
you know, the part of the question, really,
Yeah.
if I understand it clearly, is that it's not even a matter of having maybe a chairman, but a situation where now, in some parties, who is going to contest for any election in 2023 are already known. They already say this person will go, this person will not go. It's already known. And who are determining these persons? It is people who have the money to fund the party. I have an information then during the Third Republic where someone that I know very well funded a party in the state. And he told me that this is an investment that he's doing. So you have made a clear distinction between what happened in Second Republic and what happened now. So we have even advanced to a level where the management of a political party is dependent on the caliber of people who are there, who have the financial muscle to dictate or take decisions within the party. So party ownership becomes a problem to the ordinary member of the party.
Mm. You know, Your Excellency, Dr. Nzewa earlier talked about leadership structure and ownership structure. But our principal concern is to relate all of this to party membership so that the consequence that we are seeing, such as the oligarchs played a key role, the so-called money bags, consigning members of the party to the periphery. I asked a question, Your Excellency. I said, look, today, when you say, if I say I'm a member of a political party, I should be a financial member of that party. How many political parties can boast that they are running their affairs on the basis partly of membership subscription? Is it not when they are sending election forms that they say, if you want to be a governor, you want to bring 100 million naira?
Yes. I am still telling you the influence of money in our political system. I think we are almost all saying the same thing in different languages. Look, let me tell you, there is no political party in Nigeria today that doesn't have provision for membership contribution. Every month you must pay this amount. But ask yourself, how many members of the party pay these levies? Many don't. Just ordinary subscription. Even if it is every month, you have to pay 500 naira, 200 naira. We still don't pay those subscriptions.
In the First Republic, they were paying.
Yes.
So why are they not paying now? Because they believe that, I'm sorry, people are chopping. So why should I come and give them money to come and chop us?
And even when you contribute to perhaps maybe in a locality where you have a ward.
That's right.
If you contribute money in that ward, who manages the money? Is it not going to be the chairman of the ward and other members? And members of the party are not going to be trusting those people that their money will be properly managed. So that's what's the more reason why they don't contribute in the first place.
Let me jump in at this. I think we're saying basically something. What we've seen so far is there is no emotional or aspirational connection between political parties and Nigerians or members. I draw some parallel to give you some clear lucidity around this. Now, take a football club, for instance, Liverpool. Liverpool is a football club. Now, the fans of Liverpool have an emotional and aspirational connection between Liverpool and the fans, and they can go and die on account of that particular club. The same thing happens with Man United. If you come to a local environment, when football used to be played, or the way it is enjoyed in this environment, you have Rangers, you have stationery stores, you have Kano Pillars.
You don't mention Bendel Insurance.
Okay, Bendel Insurance. You can see the relationship between the fans, the members, or the supporters of this club to their clubs. Now, it doesn't exist in our environment. No, our father here has said something very clearly. You find a whole lot of anti-democratic practices, even in the First Republic and Second Republic. A situation where you have a chairman of a political party also contesting as a presidential candidate. It is anti-democratic. But that was overlooked. Now we're making some progress. Now, how can a political party fund its activities? On account of non-payment of membership dues. As the chairman of all political parties in Nigeria, I sit regularly on a daily basis and I see the feedback I get from the national chairman of political parties. Members do not pay.
Why?
That is, the members do not pay. Now, if you ask why, some will tell you illiteracy, some will tell you poverty. That's the thing. But if you say you're talking about illiteracy, you're talking poverty, you find Nigerians who will sit on their home, on their couch, watch what they call it, Big Brother Nigeria. They will watch Big Brother Nigeria, and when they begin to vote for the in-house inmates there, some of them pay. You see the money they try to pay. At the end of the day, you find over 100 millions of Nigeria will pay money on that account and will sit back not doing anything. But when it comes to politics or to get involved in active process that will help the country, you don't do that. It's also because they have seen that the leaders are not also adding value to their life. And it is not only a political problem, it's also both traditional, cultural, and the political setup. And so when you begin to lay that blame only on the political sector or political subsystem, we're having a problem. You need to understand that political party is an institutional platform that is created to have elections. And not only to have that, to train, monitor, and also mentor prospective leaders. Now, it is all incumbent on every one of us. If our party system is good and right, it will help us. The point being made is this. If political parties are not funded via membership subscription, and if members are not active in terms of being involved in decision making, you can't force anyone. You only have to get them involved. And the good thing about it is that we have multiplicity of media now, where we engage with all kinds of, all the members. Regularly, we send updates. Regularly, we talk to them, pay your dues, do this and do that. And yet, this falls on deaf ear. Now, when you have a situation where it is getting to election period, and the party has got to exercise its role, you need to have something, you need to do something about it. And that's where comes the leadership structure. The leaders will now, on account of this, instead of us to allow our party not to move forward, they will among themselves find a way to raise resources to find a way to also do the needful so that INEC will not come hard on them and also they also fulfill the obligations. So when you are in this tight corner, now you now find out that leadership structure of political parties plays some positive role. But in this instance, for the survival of the party, because members have refused or do not want to pay their dues. So the bottom line at the end of it is this. We need to find a connection. How do we creatively make it that political parties become very attractive? Just as Dr. Hayatu has also emphasized, there has to be this clarity. This non-clarity on ideology is also a factor that is not helping us. And we need to dwell on that. Once we're able to address that, we say this party is identified with this. This party is identified with this. We say this party, it is for the masses. We know it for the masses. This party is for the workers. We go for the workers. This masses is for the academics. So when we have this clarity around this and have clearly stated ideological slant, it becomes very easy for us to connect with that. With that as is it now, there is heavily non-clarity along ideology of political parties.
When we had Labour Party,
yes,
I was glad, I was thinking that really, this is a party with ideology. But before we knew it, the person who actually won governorship on that platform, decamped. And that killed that idea of that Labour ideology, which I thought they were trying to, put in place in Nigeria as at that time.
So who were the Labour members that voted for that candidate in the election? And then why did he then abandon his members? I mean, these are the issues that we are trying to interrogate. Yes.
Exactly. But Dr. Aminu Hayatu, maybe you come in here on the issue of funding and the decision making in a political party.
I beg your pardon?
I say you come in on the issue of funding political parties. I hope you had the two guests here in the studio talk about the issue of funding a party and that of hijacking the party by money bags?
Yes, yes, I think that's quite correct. You see, if you look.
Well, we are having issues with that connection there, and when it becomes clearer, we'll return to Aminu Hayatu. Okay, he's back. All right, Dr. Hayatu, you may continue with your contribution.
Yes, I was saying that yes, the problem actually is this issue of membership contribution in political parties is not taken very seriously. What we see today is that party members do not even float to make contributions to the political party, and its fate in their own hands. So what eventually happens is that the elites in these political parties, it's normal that you should have elites in political parties because they're expected to use the knowledge, their expertise, and their experiences to manage party affairs in accordance with the provisions of the party. But we see a hijack and over eliticization in these political parties to the extent that party members become reluctant to make contributions to pay their dues, and nobody calls them to order because there is no proper discipline in these political parties. And eventually what happens is that everybody is just folding their arms and waiting for a rainy day when a politician who has got money will, pay the dues of the political party, pay for registration of that political party and all other financial costs. And then definitely, he who dictates blows the piper, dictates the tune. So all of these political party members, having known that they didn't have any much commitment in the formation and the processes of the political party, will have to give up even in terms of when decisions are going to be made in the political party. And we see that in primary elections. We see the dictation of those who have made contributions, financial contributions in the political party, dictate which candidates emerge. And we see that all around. My apologies to the politicians. You go to, for example, the National Assembly and ask, how many members have emerged, through a very credible, free and fair process of internal party democracy, elections being held, with a play level ground. We see what happens all around our states. Most governors actually become their ticket bearers of their political party by virtue of the acquisition of what gives them the opportunity to hijack the political parties. And so you can only think less of a political party to make an impact and to serve as a real pressure group or as a vehicle for conveying development and democratic progress in a country if these internal democratic party practices are not actually being followed strictly in accordance with the provisions of the law and the party. And we, like Sir Udenwa said, we all have the processes and the framework on ground. We have the laws, we have the regulations, but they are not working because someone who has got an advantage over others in terms of money, economic power, in terms of experience, in terms of knowledge, has decided not to be honest with himself and has put the political party in his pocket. So what you get is what you see.
Okay, Dr. Hayatu, thank you very much for your perspective. I want to return to Dr. Leonard Zenwa again to pursue further the whole idea of leadership structure and ownership structure of the political parties, and let's see the connection in terms of the deleterious effect it is having on our sustainable democracy. If party members are shortchanged in active decision-making in the political party, such that whether in direct or indirect primaries, they have virtually no say in who emerges, and money bags produce the candidates, whether in the legislature, but more particularly into executive positions. Isn't that a situation where we have now seen that sometimes, those who are in executive positions do not feel any sense of obligation, first to their party members and then to the generality of the electorate and the constituency that they represent, having been through the whole process of investment, as Kirian said, by the oligarchs to say, look, this is what we are doing. You even have elected persons who will tell you that this is their program, this is their agenda. And that agenda has virtually no connection with either the manifesto of the party or the constitution of the party. So isn't this part of the challenges that we are seeing with our democracy, that we appear to be going forward and then we are taking several steps backward, and there's no organic development of real political parties in the sense of it, with real members and a clear-cut ideology, and to say, look, we're having a clear and fascinating political contestation.
Yeah. I agree with you 100% with what Joe said. Now, let's get this. We need to understand there are internal windows that are created to actually practice internal democracy. Not only to draw the members to partake in decision-making of the party, but also to win and train them to also be involved in how to politicking. Now, for instance, you have the party congresses that are held periodically from time to time, depending on the constitution of the party. You also have the conventions of political parties that are held from time to time. Now, these congresses and conventions are held to change or get new leadership for political parties. Now, when a political party is registered, within that period of time, you're given latitude, the window to say, look, you can manage a political party for so period, but you have to have their convention. That convention is the window provided for every member of the party to come, seek for any elective office at that party, and become leadership person in the party. Now, if you do it, it's replaced at the Congress. The Congress is largely held at the state level. Now, what we have observed is this. Money has played very bad role in Nigerian politics. Money has played very bad role. Even the person you think does not have the money, when it comes to assuming elective offices in political party, will do everything to seek for money, to find money, to get that particular position. It's not about being poverty-stricken. It is because he is seeing that position as an avenue that will help him to make money. Now, the Anambra primary is a very clear example of what happened. I just came back from Anambra. I was there and I saw what took place. Now, we had a situation where political parties were looking at what was going on the other political parties. And if you said you are a Puritan, a moralistic political person, or let's say you're a moral politician, you don't want to get yourself involved. By the time you see candidate B throwing this amount of money somewhere, you see candidate C allegedly throwing this amount of money somewhere, some in hard currency, some in Nigerian notes, and all that. Now, the other person that is in this side will say, look, listen, this is what is happening. They want to undo me or somehow get me out of the race. What do? I also need to find a way to get back into the contest. So the point you're making is very, very valid and very solid. Now, what do we do? What do we do to address lack of internal party democracy? And to do that, INEC has got to play a significant role. And one of these key roles is this. It is not going to be one person, two person, three person that will now register a political party in Nigeria. We need to have, let's say, 100 persons, or we have specific requirement across geographical boundary. We can say, for instance, since Nigeria is taken as a federation, we can say we need 50 persons in this particular state, cutting across all the local governments. We need 50 persons from this corner. So that when you have a political party, it represents a nation, or it represents a mass collection of people owning a political party. If we start from that point, we'll have an aggregation of people who can own political party as completely distinct from what we have, where an individual will register a political party and he says he's the founder and he is the chairman and the presidential candidate of that political party. That has got to be done. So to address lack of internal party first, we need to review the ideology of political parties in Nigeria. It's very, very key. That has to be done. Because what we have here, if it's you either on the right or on the left, in between that, nothing exists. We do not have this political party is on the right. We don't have that in this country. This political party is on the left. What we have that everybody is moving towards
towards money.
That's the point. Towards this direction. And that direction is money. How do we assess power at the corridor of the federation? And we do this. So to address lack of internal democracy in Nigeria, we need to be sincere to ourselves. A whole lot of parties will have to be rejigged, have to be reviewed. Their constitution has to be worked on. There has to be clear-cut ideology where you belong to. You have them coming up articulating utopian, unrealistic, non-feasible manifesto. Somebody tell you he's bringing heaven down. You look at the country, you will say in the next 2 days, I'm going to bring heaven down to this person. You look at what is on the ground. This person that is telling you is going to bring heaven down. You don't understand the economic structure. You don't understand the political structure. You don't understand the larger underpinnings that works around the system. So you have a lot of people who are so emotional but are not connected with realities. So for us, it will be better for this country for us to review this entire gamut of things that I've just stated now and move forward.
Yes, you talked about rejigging of the parties on the basis of the fact that all parties must be formed based on one ideology or the other. I recall constantly that under military President Babangida, he created two parties, basically to see if we can base the two parties on ideologies, a little to the right and a little to the left, right? But it didn't work. It didn't work. After him, what we saw in the Third Republic and the Fourth Republic, negate the idea of forming only two political parties, basically on two ideologies, right? So, training has a role to play here, as rightly pointed out. I want to ask Atiku Denwa on the issue of training of political party members on political party ideology and internal democracy. How do you go about training a huge number of people who belong to a political party? What is the possibility of ensuring that members understand the ideology of a party? And of course, the behavioral pattern of members of the party, the manifesto of the party, and of course, all the laws and regulations guiding the party. Because this will be very important, because if that is not done, the idea of rejigging and the idea of looking at the whole gamut of parties may never work.
Thank you very much. I think all what we are talking, as far as I'm concerned, everything borders more on the attitude of the Nigerian. It could be a politician, it could be anything, but our attitude to life has changed drastically, and it is all in terms of materialism. That's the major problem. Yes, even up to now, most of the political parties, they do have training programs at all levels. You have training programs at the LGA level, at the world, even at the world level, up to the state level, at the national level. We have all these trainings, but the attitude of the Nigerian, the attitude of the membership of the party, we are talking of even common subscription. My colleague here has said, he gave even an example. So you can't talk about poverty. I don't agree it is all about poverty. He gave an example that somebody will not make any obligation to the party. But if it is Big Brother Niger, he will be able to buy cards, recharge cards.
If it is to bet on money,
so when we talk about, we excuse many things by illiteracy and poverty. I don't agree. In terms of our literacy level, we have advanced. I tell you, in the Second Republic you are talking of, the party leaders, some of them could not write their names.
Yeah. Absolutely.
But now you will see a graduate who is a world youth leader. World. Yeah. So it's not a question of illiteracy.
Yeah, but that, Your Excellency, I'm sorry to jump in here. The question Kirian asked is still on the floor. That party leader who could not write his name was firm as to what he would do or he could do for his political party because he believed in it.
Exactly.
And today, the person will say, look, what is in this for me?
Exactly.
How do we interrupt that? How do we disrupt that?
How we do that is still continuous reorientation. I don't know. It is a society. Honestly, it has to do with the society. Because now, I know it practically that when you're asking somebody, an ordinary party member, to pay his monthly dues, for what? When he's expecting that if he comes for a meeting, he will go home with money.
Even for them to come to rallies, to come to rallies, I hear that they are paid.
You hear that?
Paid. They are paid because they will tell you, okay, I'm going for a rally.
This is the major
I'm not going to work for today.
It's a societal problem. I keep saying it. It is a societal problem. If we are, just like I talked about before, I tell you, in 1979, when Mala Aminu Kanu was coming to Port Harcourt for his presidential campaign, I was in Port Harcourt then. We, the party members, hired the hotel where he was to stay. We brought our cars. We hired cars that were used for the campaign. By then, I was driving my own car. I didn't have a driver. I was a very young man then. I was sitting with Abubakar Ribi, who came with Malam. Two of us used my car throughout that period. And nobody gives you 1 kobo to put fuel inside it. From where? But our attitude today has completely changed. So you will see that it is the members of this party, the ordinary members of the party, who have abandoned the party to the money bag. It's not the other way around.
You think so, Your Excellency?
Yes, I think so. He has abandoned because he doesn't care. What he needs is money. He has no commitment. And we are talking here about manifestos. Who cares about manifestos? People can move from one political party to the next one. If he checks and nothing is coming from there, he moves to the third one. Does he ask them, what is your ideology? There is nothing like that. What is your manifesto?
And the thing is that it plays out even among the governors of states, across carpet and even while in power.
You can see.
You came into a position under a platform.
So, my dear, it's not that I'm not sounding as if the situation is irredeemable. That's not what I should sound like. But I mean, let us say, let the parties be stronger, be able to sanction their members and see how we can get the members reoriented again to know this is what should be done, this is what my rights are, so that a money bag doesn't come and just throw in money and buy the party. The party belongs to the party members. Right. It's not to the money bag.
For you to contest for any position, assuming you want to go to House of Assembly, for instance, in your state, and you want to tell your ward that you are coming out, of course, you have to provide, for the members.
I tell you,
for them to even listen to you, you have to provide.
In 1999, I contested for governorship in Imo State. If it is today, I'm not sure I would have contested.
Yeah. Why?
Yeah, because the type of money required now is not the type of money people like me can provide. And if you watch it today, that is why the political parties have been completely hijacked.
All right, sir. Let's just pause you there for a while and take a short break and stay.
That's right.
Let's take a short break now. When we come back, the conversation continues. Stay with us.
Oh, yeah.
The counsel of our fathers.
My advice to these young people is please do not take us back to those harrowing days. You probably do not know what it is.
Nigerian youths let's build our nation together.
Life can be very eventful. We curiously expect things to happen, even when we don't know what. Our human nature makes us like and repost lots of information. Some are unverified, inciting anger and hate. Sometimes innocently, other times the urge to break it first. This, in most cases, has caused destruction in many nations.
Nigerian youths are about the greatest assets the country has at the moment. It is therefore not surprising that the administration of President Muhammadu Buhari is strategically responding to the yearnings of the youth through multiple projects and programs. Youth entrepreneurship support years by Bank of Industry, the Youth Investment Fund by the CBN, and several other conditional cash transfer programs. Recruitment of 774,000 social workers, majority of whom are youths, and so many other projects that are beneficial to youths directly or indirectly. If the administration can do all this, definitely with a degree of patience and time, it can achieve more. Nigerian youths must come together to say no to terrorism, no to vandalism, and no to all disruptive tendencies. Hashtag Youth for Greater Nigeria. Pacifying the youths, unifying the nation.
It's the dawn of a new era on NTA's flagship program, the Sports Parliament, revitalized with lots of varieties, including feedback responses from viewers. Sports Parliament, the weekly sports show that exposes all the intrigues in the Nigerian sports sector and projects an agenda on the way forward for Nigerian sports. On NTA every Thursday at 10:30 p.m., running for 1 whole hour, discussing sports. The parliamentarians are more committed than ever to enlighten the viewers as the Sports Parliament takes it to a whole new level on the floor of the House. Keep a date with the Sports Parliament as motions are moved every Thursday on the floor of the House. Mr. Speaker, with his gavel to harmonize sports resolutions. The House have it.
Welcome back here. There's still Good Morning Nigeria reaching you on the network service of the Nigerian Television Authority. We still have all our guests with us, two in the studios here and the other from our Kano Network Center, Dr. Aminu Hayatu. By the way, for our viewers who've been wondering, if you recall, before the federal government suspended Twitter, in the country, we used to have a Twitter handle at NTAGMN. We have since, of course, jettisoned that on the basis of the directive of the federal government. We now have a Facebook address. You can also see that on our screen. That's Facebook at NTAGMN. So if you have your comments or contributions to our conversations, take advantage of it, and of course, we will read out your contribution. So once again, let's return to our three guests still with us for this conversation. Dr. Aminu Hayatu, very, very quickly, I want us to clarify something. I hear the accent on parties not having ideology and so on and so forth, that if you look at their constitution, or more particularly the manifestos, they are virtually similar. The argument has been made sometimes that political parties have been in Nigeria constrained, as it were, by the Constitution of the Federal Republic as amended. And the particular reference is made to Chapter 2 of the Constitution, which relates to the fundamental objectives and directive principles of state policy. Where welfareism is indicated there, you have to cater for the welfare, security, and life of citizens, education, and all kinds of things. And political parties tend to take their bearing from that. And after that, there's virtually no difference, between all the political parties. So, is this a justification for what we are saying? Or could the parties be more radical in their thinking and say, all right, so what we're going to be doing now is maybe, if you quarrel with the economic policies of an incumbent administration, you say, this is the direction we are going to take. We're going to move away from this. We get more into orthodoxy, or we get away from orthodoxy. What is it? Everybody will tell you, we want to create jobs. We want to, build roads and, all those cheap things that we normally hear.
Well, I haven't heard most part of the question, but I would just like to.
Can I repeat it, Dr. Hayatu? Dr. Hayatu, let me repeat my question, because I think it's critical.
Okay, that's fine.
The guests here in the studios picked the question. I'm saying that whenever we say political parties should be differentiated by ideology, the point has been made that political parties appear on their own to be constrained by the 1999 Constitution as amended. And that is to say, Chapter 2 of the Constitution, which already talks about the welfare state, the obligations of government, provided for welfare, security, education, and so on and so forth, rights of citizens, and all that parties take their bearing from the Chapter 2 of the Constitution, and that's why there's virtually no difference in what you see in terms of their ideology. And what then could happen? Should it be that parties get more radical in the implementation of those key principles stipulated in Chapter 2?
Well, you see, we have to differentiate between many things here. I think it's very important for us to highlight the fact that political parties are supposed to emerge, naturally from the fabrics of the societies in which they are formed, in terms of the forces and interests that are galvanized to formulate a particular ideology, which will be used as a vehicle to pursue those interests on behalf of the people. So whatever framework or provision of constitution is on ground, it does not normally be in conflict with the aspirations and the wishes of the people in the society in which these political parties are formed. But the problem is that the political parties, in and by themselves, already become so cheap and operate in a way that they are being hijacked. Hijacked in the sense that, let's go back to our ordinary understanding of these divisions of classes in the society. We have these political parties are run by elites who have understanding of how the system works. And what they are supposed to do is to organize these people alongside the ideology which they are working, so as to pursue the interests and aspirations of the people which they are representing. So what we see now, no matter how you tend to provide solutions to this problem, if you don't go back to those people who actually have control and the technical know-how, the knowledge and the technical know-how of how political parties are run, and the knowledge of these constitutional provisions and how you can align that with political party ideologies and interests, you cannot get the solution to the problem. Because normally you cannot accuse the masses of being, for example, illiterate. Something is responsible for their being illiterate. Or even if they are, half-baked or do not understand the system, it is not their own fault. It is the fault of their managers. In every society, we see that it is the elites, even in governance. That's the reason why you see many times qualifications are attached to positions in government, because it is expected that unless you are informed, you cannot be able to manage and organize that society in accordance with the expectations of the general populace. So whose responsibility is it to do that? That's why I always throw back this fault and responsibility to the elites, because most of the manipulations are deliberate. How many people, Saudenwa talked about these activities of political parties, organizing workshops and all of that. But how many political parties actually organize workshops, anti-corruption workshops, for example, for their own members? They would not do that simply because the leaders in that political party, are even the originators of that corruption, and they manage it and take advantage of it. So the provisions in the Constitution is not in ways that we think are contrary to the expectations of the political party, but it become there is this disparity by virtue of the activities of the managers of the political party. And that's why elites are supposed to be organized, while masses are naturally and inherently unorganized. Who does the organization is the managers of this political party, which are the elites. And we do not see that quite often. What we see is the hijack of these political parties by these elites in such a way that nobody could do anything. And even if you are going to continue providing solutions, once the elites do not feel responsible and become honest to run these political parties on the basis of transparency, accountability, and on the basis of, ideology driven and all of that, you are not going to see alignment between interest and interest, wishes, and aspirations of political parties with what is provided in the legal policy and the policy framework of the Nigerian state.
Now, Dr. Nzanwa, the issue that Kingsley raised, that concerns the Chapter 2 of the Constitution, should that be the reason why there are no differentiations with respect to ideologies of political parties in Nigeria? Added to that is the fact that when we come to a state, for instance, and you say a particular party in power, the governor becomes the leader of the party, making chairman of the party and other persons in the hierarchy of the party almost irrelevant in terms of decision taking, in terms of even to put whatever ideology in place in the state. Look at these two issues very briefly.
Okay. The Chapter 2 of our Constitution is not a constriction. It is not. A political party is also a reflection of the entire society. And so you take up, if you're trying to structure, articulate both your manifesto as well as your ideology, it must come from the society itself. What we've seen so far is leadership, political deficiency of leadership at the upper level. People have looked at leaders across this country and they see that they are not performing. Let me use the word performing in quote. Or leaders assume positions of authority or responsibility essentially because they want to further their parochial interest or money making. And so the feedback they get is that they're not getting value for leadership. And so this has accounted for why you find this high level of disconnect between leadership, the elites, as well as the masses. Now, like my own political party, African National Congress, we espouse progressive welfareism, which is also in tandem with the Chapter 2. Now, the way we came out is an amalgamation of all the former student union leaders in this country. We set out to create a completely novel thing and use the social media. As a matter of fact, we use the social media to galvanize membership. And that's why our membership drive essentially happens around the social media within the country and outside the media. We came up with several experiments. We started the town hall meeting in this country, political town hall meeting in this country. Now, why we did that was because we looked for a way to connect with the people, connect with them. But we still have this ceiling. This ceiling we have is this: how can we creatively create this emotional relationship between our masses and ourselves? That is the challenge we need to find. Now, on the other side, leaders, as you've currently asked, leaders need to do something. First of all, you must be a Democrat. For instance, let me give you a clear example. A man who is not a Democrat in his house, I'm talking about your nuclear family. If you're not a Democrat in your own house, you cannot be a Democrat outside your street. You need to become a Democrat in your house. You have to understand the principle of giving people the rights to do what they want to do. If a non-democrat from a family cannot give what it does not take. So Nigerians inherently, a very large chunk of Nigerians are not Democrats. And he has also elucidated this. With this craving, this hankering for money, to be in power, to be in control, is what is all affecting us. We can't allow a situation where a leader of a political party should also be the chairman of the political party, or the state chairman of the political party should also be the governor of the party. This is anti-democratic tendencies and needs to be stopped. And so you must say, like, in my political party, every single role, every single function must be occupied by a different person, and it must be done in such a way that your responsibility is clear, your role is clearly defined, and the outcome or what you're going to provide is also clear. So if we don't address these issues, we'll have it at the end of the day. So in conclusion, what I need to say is that this idea of this blame game, it is them that are responsible. We are not responsible. If we continue coming out with this mindset, we'll not go anywhere. We have a problem that is engulfing this country, and we need to work together as a group to see how we can make it.
Dr. Nsenwa, thank you very much. We're pressed for time, but the question raised by Kirian is very important, and I would like His Excellency to speak to this. A party constitution is the basis for a party structure. To say this is the structure that we have. Where you have the state executive or the national executive, you have the chairman at the state level or the chairman at the national level. Above that, you also have the whole idea of board of trustees, chairman of the board. But where you have, this has become so commonplace, say the leader of the party, and the leader, the L is in caps, that is a capital letter, leader. The governor is automatically the leader of the party in the state. Of course, maybe you know what that means in terms of, oiling the machinery of the party. And people say that this is part of the confusion that we're having. Meetings are now being held in government house rather than the party secretariat. Party chairman, becomes an errand boy of the governor. Everybody running around. Somebody decamps and they're looking for the leader of the party to go and see. Why is this so?
Yeah, you are very right. It's not supposed to be so. But the party is looking for funding. That is major. Let us be honest ourselves. No, let's be honest ourselves. Today, APC is the party in power at the federal level. You don't want to see that APC doesn't have money to fund certain things when the government is there. It is natural with us, but it shouldn't be so. I do agree with you. Like, if I'm the governor of a state, I'm practically, as far as party issues are concerned, I'm under my chairman of the party. The chairman of the party should be strong, should be powerful enough to control me, and not the other way around. I agree with you. The same thing at the national level. The party chairman should be able to control the president, not the other way around. I'm even telling you that we are talking of the progress we have made. I'm telling you that even in the Second Republic, they had better of this relationship. Money had not been emphasized at that time. Because I remember someone like Akinloye was very powerful.
Yeah. Adisa Akinloye.
Chief
Adisa Meredith.
He was in charge
of NPN.
Adeniro Gusaya was very, very powerful in NPP.
Exactly. Yes, right.
Those two were very powerful chairmen. Even at the state level at the time, we had powerful chairmen at the state level. It is not so again today. I am telling you that it all boils down to still who pays the piper controls the tune. This is the major issue, which should not be so. The executive, no matter who you are, the highest chief executive of any political party should be the chairman of the party, should be a very powerful person. Well, I do agree with you.
All right. Well, it's said that we are concluding this edition of Good Morning Nigeria. I'd like to thank you for watching and also appreciate all our guests here in the studio. Chief Achiku Denwa, former governor of Imo State, we thank you for your time and your thoughts. Dr. Leonard Nzenwa, chairman Inter-Party Advisory Council, IPAC. Thank you indeed for coming. And from Kano, we had Dr. Aminu Hayatu. Dr. Hayatu, we thank you for being part of our program this morning.
All right, so that's it on Good Morning Nigeria today. We appreciate your tuning in. The program returns tomorrow, same time, 7 in the morning. Until then, do take care of yourself. I am Kingsley Osadolo.
And I'm Kirin Umaya. Do have a great day.